And we're recording Michigan Derby Podcast, episode number 8, sponsored by Blaze Steel Supply. Say it once during the episode. Tonight's guests, Chris and Kim Potocki from southern side of Michigan. Kim brought a car up last night and placed third place in Todd Sorensen's Limited Weld two-man team show. Kim, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, thank you.
How's Chris doing?
Doing great, same.
Great. Awesome to hear. So I was talking to Chris and Kim last night before the up an inspection line, before the heat started. And Kim let me know that she was going to be driving yesterday. And I asked Chris, I said, is Kim really driving? And Chris goes, well, yeah, she's a better driver. At which point I said, I would probably not let my wife drive to Applebee's, but you would substitute your wife to drive in a Derby. Kim, before last night, when was the last time you ran a car?
Last time I ran was Championship 2017, and then, it's been a while.
Okay, you ran Mayhem years ago, too.
I did. I ran Mayhem 3 years, I believe.
Okay, that was back when Tori had it. Was that a bone stock old iron?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we ran with the actual, what he turned into the Mayhem class, or what used to be the Mayhem class.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, were you into the Derby scene before you met Chris, or did he kind of get you into it?
So, Chelsea's hometown show has always been like the highlight of the summer, so I grew up. My dad's friends always built cars for that. I mean, it was the old school, 80s build, backyard, everyone drinks beer around in the barn, just doing whatever. But my dad never actually ran. So, we always went. It was the highlight, and I loved it. I actually drove a compact car in 2002, and it was pretty embarrassing. So I just went to college and decided to be a high school teacher and do that for my profession instead of Derby driving. So met Chris in 2006 and kind of got back into it. 2005, I guess.
Yes.
But got back into it because obviously he was into it. He's older than I am and been doing it longer. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So you were kind of already into it before you even met Chris.
Yeah, it was always my thing, and my friends thought I was crazy. So.
There you go. Let's kind of go back to last night a little bit. So, it's your first Derby in a few years, and Chris is your passenger. I haven't had a passenger in a long time. So did you guys kind of go back and forth with communication at all, or did you kind of forget he was there, or how'd that go?
No, it actually worked out really well. Like, Chris and I have a pretty good communication when it comes to Derby stuff. So it was super helpful. I mean, I understood, what he was trying to get me to understand out there. And so having that extra set of eyes and things, you're in tune to it.
Gotcha. So, just so the audience knows, you guys ran Wicked Team Show last year with Corey Dixon, the 03 Nation team, and you guys had some pretty hard luck. And the funny part is, I'm not going to even mention that because, well, I did, but we had harder luck because you guys made it to the track and we didn't. And we had that conversation yesterday because our cars wound up having problems. And my car wouldn't have ran any longer than your guys' did because I would have had the same problem as you guys.
Yeah.
I had a bad time last year. Last couple of years has been a rough year for us. So last year was a transmission problem. We I lasted a whole 45 seconds and scattered the transmission. After that, I was just kind of irritated, and I was just too much work, just frustrated. So we got it back together and decided to take it up to Cadillac and run. And after I got it back together, I told the wife she's driving instead of me because she deserves it.
I'll tell you this, I was up in the stands last night and told the audience, or some of the guys I was there with, that Kim was driving, and they looked at me like, huh? Like, for real.
Yeah.
And you're wheeling it right down. Go ahead.
Oh, he just said I could outdrive him all day long.
Oh, yeah. So, experience-wise, I mean, how many years you been running, Kim? I mean, I know it's been a couple years since you ran last, but so 2002 is when you got into it. Was it kind of spotty, or was there a stretch there where you ran for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, 2006, August of 2006 was really when I started running pretty consistently every year, the hometown show, and then we started going out to Mayhem and watching. 2009 was our first year out there watching and seeing what the big national shows were like that everyone kept talking about. I think it was the last year Mayhem was down in Oregon.
Yes.
And then it moved up to Peck after that. But, you know, one year Chris just says, hey, there's a bone stock class. What do you think? I said, well, what's the build like? And it's relatively similar to what our hometown show was. I'm like, all right, let's go. So, you know, going from hometown to Metal Mayhem was fun. And that first year it was Vicky Schutte and I were the only two girls out there, period. Through the heats, the feature, everything.
Did you make the feature?
Yeah, I made the feature both the first year and the second year that I ran Mayhem.
Wow. Wow. Chris,
I was happy with just the feature. I mean, that was kind of, you know, my goal is just to get through that heat. And I counted that as a win, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you know, there's the stigma with letting the wife drive, but when you have a wife like Kim, Chris, I honestly probably would let her drive my car any day too, you know?
Like I said, it's a lot of fun for me just to watch her drive. I just get excited over it. It's entertaining, so it's a passion that she loves.
That's a great duo too, because Chris is a heck of a builder. I mean, your guys' cars are top notch, top quality, you know, and then Kim, the way that she drove last night was nothing short of just awesomeness, you know. There aren't many.
I had fun.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't many drivers, honestly, that could get down to where you did. What was going on last night? Was the starter going out on you guys, or what was that? What was that going on there?
No, we had some carburetor issues, and it didn't matter where we set the idle at. It kept stalling after a while, and I couldn't figure it out. So it's something in the carburetor. I'm just gonna tear it apart and clean it again, look it over again.
We just kept adjusting the idle, every red flag.
Try to keep the RPMs up, and it still would fall on its face every now and then. So, but I had it started every single time. So.
Gotcha. And then the starter actually just went out of it, and then
that was a special starter. That was just I'm not joking, off the shelf starter from an old engine that was on there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it worked out for the night.
Yeah. Is the car hurt at all? How's it look?
Not really. I mean, the rear end starting to tip a little. Like, you know, they do. And then the front, I mean, it's you know, it's pretty
straight as an arrow still.
Pretty straight.
So it hasn't given it an inch yet.
Perfect. You know, I saw you laying some serious licks down last night too, and that thing, it looked really hard. I mean, it obviously held up pretty good, but what'd you think of the build? Did you have a lot of fun building it?
Yeah, I enjoyed building that one. It was a little bit of a challenge, a little different build than what I'm used to, but it's you know, everybody wants to do these, you know, add more plates and pressure the motors in. Well, we put the basic plates you need to be on, and our motors are never pressured in on those cars because you don't need to. It's something you just don't have to do on that style build on that car, especially running the engine cradle that we run in there that wraps around the aluminum, and having our hydraulic steering. That cradle really holds the rails together. So like I said, you don't have to pressure those engines in at all.
Gotcha. And that's obviously working out because the front end did not move on that car that I saw.
No, it did not. I did break the sway bar, though.
Yeah.
Well, that'll happen when there's 22 limited weld cars out there that aren't bending.
I mean.
Something's got to give somewhere.
Yep.
No, it's been a lot of years trying to figure these front ends of these cars out, trying to do with you know, a lot of guys want to just add metal to make it. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to do it, and I think we got it pretty well figured out how to make them hold up without adding a lot to them. Trying to make a hard car with the least amount of work I need to do.
Yeah, so you're past the figuring out how to make it hard. Now you're just trying to make it hard with not as much work.
Exactly, and I think we've got it figured out. I mean, if you've seen what the rails look like in the front, they haven't moved an inch.
Yeah, you're literally working on the convenience part of it, not the actual principle of making it hard.
Yep.
That's pretty advanced building right there. I mean, that's that takes a long time to get to that level.
It has, and my buddy Corey Dixon, he's we've been working on these things forever, trying to figure out, and we pass ideas back and forth, and I think we got the idea to make them work.
Yeah, I think 2012 was when you guys
started messing around with them. And back in 2000, what year was Wicked? The first year we ran them. I mean, we ran a national event the very first year running the aluminum cradle, and people thought we were nuts, absolutely crazy, running a team show with that, and we did fairly well with them. I did break the cradle that year because we weren't allowed to attach to the rails, but after fixing and solving some problems, these guys have gotten better and better. And now look at all your bone stock and your SS classes. Everybody's wanting to run all these 03s.
You're starting
bigger and bigger, and more and more people are running them.
Yeah, they're popping up everywhere like weeds now.
Yep. And there's a talent to making all that stuff work, and a lot of guys are figuring it out. It's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's do the part of the podcast where we go back to we'll do both you guys kind of at the same time. So Kim said she ran her first show in 2002.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of car was it?
It was a stick shift Mazda 626, 1989. I bought it for $50 and a 6-pack of Guinness, which my mother had to buy for me.
Okay, hold on. So that was a front-wheel drive car?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have front-wheel...
I told you it was embarrassing. I'm just saying.
I'm guessing they didn't even have a front-wheel drive class back then.
The local show has what they call mini cars, so it's based on wheelbase.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay, back in 2002 they were doing that?
Yeah, we had compacts back in 2002 at our show. I think that was the first year for it.
Wow, okay. All right, so you're going out on the track, you're in your first car, that's okay, it's a compact. That's okay, we're going to laugh at it, but that's fine. But what's going through your mind as you're going out on the track, your first Derby?
I don't remember. That car was just the experience of going out and saying I did it. My first, what I call my first real Derby, was in 2006.
Okay.
And that one we found was a 73 roundback wagon and built it. Took it out for that first show. I was scared shitless, shaken, didn't know, thought I was going to die on the line, embarrassed myself in front of everybody that knows me. Yeah, it's good.
I felt that way last night when I was going out on the track, so that never goes away, does it? What about Chris?
When did I start? 97?
Okay.
98 I started, and I had what year was that? 1984 Olds 98, a metric car is what I first started out as. And that was actually a car that I was driving daily. That was my daily driver, and when summer came around, I thought it was a perfect car to Derby, so I tore it apart before I had a car to drive and built a Derby car out of it. So I did. My brother got into it. My brother's been doing it a long time too, just our local shows, and he's the one that got me into it. So after that, I just been hooked ever since, and I still keep doing it, and I don't know why I keep doing it. Well, I kind of do. My wife keeps getting after me. I want to quit and not do it anymore, but
blame the wife.
I am blaming the wife, but she keeps me going and being out in the barn working on them.
That's because she wants to drive.
Yeah, no, I feel bad the last 4 years I wouldn't let her drive, but last night was well worth it. Well worth it.
So how did you like being passenger last night?
Oh, I would tell anybody to do it because I think I had more fun doing that than driving.
That's crazy.
It was worth it. I mean, helping her out. I mean, I was the one that was starting the car every time because I figured it was a part that I needed to do. She was running the gas. She was moving the shifter back to park or neutral, and I was running the starter switch because we were running bare wires. Mm-hmm. And I figured she didn't need to mess with that. So every time it died, I was watching the pipes, and I'd grab the wires and put them together and get it to fire up every time, and then she would do her thing. So, like I said, it was well worth it. I couldn't ask for a better night.
I made a comment to Chris Lloyd about that, and I said I had a built-in restart, man.
Yeah. Never had to worry about it.
I actually had a buddy ride with me, and I want to say 2011 at a winter show, and I kept having carb issues, and he would start the car up, and yeah, it's very handy having a passenger sometimes. It's not as handy when you get hit in the door, and either the passenger or driver's side, and you guys like clunk heads. But other than that, it's
No, it
I mean, I took a couple hits yesterday in the door that I didn't see, and I felt like I hit stars at first, but
that might be
But
put the door out there.
yeah, after all that, I was kind of egging some of them on to hit the door because I just wanted to see what happens. It was stupid, but it was, like I said, it was well worth it. It was fun being passenger. I'd do it again in a heartbeat, especially with her. I'd sit passenger all day long with her
yeah.
because we worked as a good team.
At the drivers meeting, they talked about passengers, and I think Todd kind of said, well, if you're gonna ride in it, then you're gonna have to kind of deal with it. And what'd you guys think about that?
You know what? It didn't bother. At first, it bothered me for a second, but after that, I'm like, the way the door had the bars on the side and the plate in there, the diamond plate. I said, forget it. They ain't gonna come through that. So, nope. I was good with it. I was ready.
I got you.
I did ask him how confident he was about that door. So if I happened to put it in somebody's way on purpose, what that meant.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, Wicked lets you plate the inside of both doors and the outside of the driver's door, but I don't know why they don't let you plate both doors on the outside, because the reason they let you plate the inside is for passenger.
Right.
Yes.
And it doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't understand why the passenger can do it on the inside. Driver's door, you got to do it on the outside. What's the difference?
Well, Dixon actually told me that we could do it on the inside on both and then the outside of the driver's door. So both the insides of my doors were plated.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, before we went down there.
It was just driver's door was on the outside, passenger side was on the inside. So
Right.
it all worked out.
Yeah, I've got both my doors are plated on the inside and outside actually. So
Okay.
it's just because basically what I was thinking is other guys are going to have their doors plated because they have passengers. Well, I don't have a passenger, but they get to reinforce the car for one, so I should be able to too,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a fair advantage.
Yeah. So, let's go back again. I know we're bouncing back and forth. This isn't a current events podcast; those are already being done. But we're bouncing back and forth because we just had a show last night, and everybody's still wound up about it, and it's a lot of fun to talk about. And I try to keep going back into the history, but yesterday just keeps popping up. I'm still thinking about it.
It was a great night. It was a great night last night.
It really was.
That was an awesome show. I give them that.
Yeah.
Sorensen did a great job putting that on.
Yes, Todd and Logan. Logan, I will stand behind this. I'll take this to my grave. You probably will not find a more easygoing inspection in Michigan.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
and I think it was pretty fair. I mean, I felt like, and he told us too. He says, "Hey, look, we're making everybody else do it. You guys got to do it too." Okay, cool. That's fine.
Yeah, we pulled. My teammate was Shane. I ran too. We pulled our cars up, and he says, "Hey, you got this going on here." And I said, "You know what? We don't have this." So Logan's like, "You know what? It works. Go ahead and keep it." And I was like, "Perfect." And you won't find that anywhere else.
I get. That was fair. He looked at what's going to work and what the other person's got, and he kind of equaled it out.
Yeah.
I said I was happy with it.
Yeah, and I tried to bring that up on his podcast. That, fair is fair, but sometimes being to the book is sometimes to where it cannot be fair, kinda. If you're too to the book with this guy and then this guy, I don't know. People interpret things differently, and if you're 100% black and white, you're making this guy cut something crucial, and this guy gets to keep it because of some technicality, Whereas Logan's up there, he's kind of like, well, you guys have this done, but this guy has this done. They're different, but it does the same thing in the long run. So he just, he'll work with you on it.
I was very happy last night. It was great. I mean, every car seemed equal. Everything.
Yep.
No, there was no complaints after about everybody's build.
Nope.
That's why I said it was an awesome show.
I've never seen so many hugs and high fives and smiles and hey, good run after a show in my life. I don't think I ever have until last night.
It was great. The whole atmosphere. I think everybody got out of their cars, and there was disappointment for some people, and yet they're still, high fives, great run. It was a very, very, it was a family. That's to me, that's what Derby is. It's a second family. So.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's what Todd said in the driver's meeting. He says, I don't want to see any fighting. He says, I want to see respect. I want to see everybody treating each other like humans. I don't want to see any arguing. He says, if there's a car out here people have a problem with, I want to hear it now.
Yeah,
And
I may have asked some questions of the flagmen, but not the drivers. It's not the driver's fault. Everybody's out there just trying to win. That's how it goes.
Well, Kim, we can. This is your podcast, and I'll talk to Ron and I'll talk to Kevin on here because those guys go way back and they're awesome drivers too. Ron picked up a win in 2019 at Jack's Championship, and he won last night, so he's got a pretty good streak going. And then Kevin Newhouse from Alpena, he's been around for a long time. I think he's probably ran longer than Chris has. Two amazing drivers, and you stuck right with them.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. And that right there is why Chris has his wife drive everybody.
I was surprised. I never lost my cool last night driving either. And I have a temper once in a while.
No, she did good. I lost a little temper last night towards the last three. And I know it was a team show and it can go any way. Could have reversed on us. But them beating up on us constantly and they weren't mixing it up. Yeah, I got irritated. But in the end, it was a team show. So
Well,
it all worked out.
I walked past Kim and I tried to tell her good run, and she's like, hey, I've got some questions. And I'm like, all right, well, ask your questions. I'll come back in a couple minutes. But that was, for a minute or two, and then I gave her a hug and I said, hey, good run. That's how you drive.
Yeah.
And it really was. I keep going back to last night. It is what it is, I guess. But so
it was a good show. It was a good show.
It was a well-needed show.
Yeah,
we haven't had nothing like that in Michigan in a while, so.
No. Yes.
I wish Michigan had some better shows, bigger and better. I mean, that one turned out really good, and I was very pleased with it.
Well, Chris, I'll tell you this, too. You guys have had hard luck down at the Wicked Team Show the last few years, okay? And I was very, very, very glad to see you guys fare out last night how you did. I believe Corey Dixon's shifter broke was the only reason that he even went out.
Yeah. Yep. He said actually the bolt broke that held from the Heim joint down to the shifter lever on the trans. It broke.
That's crazy.
Unexpected. You'd never expect something like that.
No.
That's what it turned out. And now if we had him last night,
Different story.
it'd have been a different story last night. I'll be honest.
I believe so. His car looks like it came from Mars. That thing is it's a tank. It looks like it came straight off of like a World War II destroyer or something.
He has fun doing what he does, and his extremes are different than my extremes, but in the end, we all do a good job. Everybody did last night.
Everybody.
Corey is such a cool guy, too. He's one of the best guys you'll ever talk to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
We started probably about the same time in Derby. He ran for quite a few years with me, and then he moved away. He actually moved out to Arizona for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And then he came back here in 2013 and got right back in it with me again. And he started with 03s right then and there the first year, and he got me back into that again. And I'm like, you know what? We just kept going and going, and it's been a good time with him again.
So you guys have been building 03s for, what did we say, since 2012?
2013 is when he came back. We started.
Oh, okay. So 2013. So you guys started building them together then?
Yep. So like I said, bouncing the ideas back and forth has been a great idea. It's been fun.
And then you guys...
That's where we started 03 Nation.
Yep,
the first year of Wicked, when we broke the racks and we're like, okay, we got to come up with something different. And when we were talking to Brandon about this, he says it's got a bolt-on like factory. Well, a rack and pinion is literally a hydraulic cylinder with gear assist. So we told him, what about a hydraulic cylinder on there? And he says, well, does it bolt on factory? And I said, yep. And that was game on right there. And then I came up with this idea of have the ball joints, the inners and outers, and
Corey worked on the engine mounting system.
Yeah,
so that works. And
yep, and ever since we've sold quite a few of them, and we have never had a complaint on them. We've never been dished down about them. It's worked. They love it.
I have seen your guys' setups in multiple states. I have seen that you guys send them out to multiple states. I have never, ever heard a complaint about your guys' 03 Nation setup.
Well, last year I had a request for W body, so I built one for a W body. He ran it a couple times last year in local shows, and he took it to Bash for Cash this year. And actually, he won the W body compact heat for Bash for Cash with it. And after that, man, his whole family came up to us and said thank you. That's the only reason he won. Not really. He was a good driver, but that really helped him out, not breaking his rack on a W body. And he's very pleased. He thanked us up and down after that system. So that's another good thing.
I'm not as familiar with the W bodies. I'm more of a caddy guy, but I guess, how would that really help a W body out, I guess?
Well, it's a rack opinion. I mean, they all break.
Oh, okay.
He was breaking toe rods. He was breaking the racks. They would crack. And you'd lose your steering. Just same thing on the 03s. The racks would break. Putting that hydraulic cylinder down there and all the stuff that we got set up for him, it made it unbreakable.
Solved your problem.
It solved his steering problems.
Gotcha. So are a lot of W body guys, what do they do with the factory racks then? Do they just run them and break them, or do they replace them with something else?
Those guys are still running the same racks, and some people have good luck with them, and some people don't. Same thing with like the SS class on the 03s.
Well, the only reason
have a good luck with them, and some are not.
Well, yeah,
We never got back into working with the racks again. We just pick up what we got. We get a lot of requests. Hey, you got a factory rack that's been modified? No.
Not yet.
We got some ideas coming about. It's been a busy year, so it's hard to get out in the shop to work. And then I had another request this year for Pacer. The Pacers got racks on them too. And I had a request, so I built a mounting system and a rack for that guy on Pacer for Bash for Cash. And he did okay, but he is very pleased with that system. So we're getting a lot of inquiries for Pacers and W bodies right now. So
yeah, the reason I asked you about W bodies was because I see so many of them run. They're like the new Chevy Impala. They're everywhere, and I didn't know if there was a trick to that or if just most guys are just leaving them stock. But apparently they're leaving.
I've never built a W body, so I don't know much about them. So.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know either way. But what year did you guys come out with your first hydraulic setup there?
So 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 3 years, you guys have sent your setups all over the country, have gotten requests for all different makes of vehicles, and you've done that much in 3 years, literally.
Yeah.
Well, there's a need for it, and if you have the ability to help solve problems and make it better, for drivers, why not?
Absolutely.
And be honest, our intentions were never to sell it. It was just going to be for us to be done with it. I never thought about selling all this stuff. Then you just started getting calls and emails and messages, and it's like, all right, I guess we can put one together for somebody. And after that, it just went gangbusters. People wanted them left and right.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's how it all starts too. Is you have an idea, they'll come up with a rule. Okay, you have to run the stock rack, and then there you go. You got to find a way around it because 03s are so hard in the nose. To run a different car, if all you got to do is solve the steering issue on it, then you're good to go.
And our philosophy with them is we want everything to be bolt on them. It's just like the front suspension 03. You can unbolt the whole entire front suspension, cradle and everything in 15, 20 minutes. I want to be able to put it back together, just bolting it back together, no welding whatsoever, no fabrication whatsoever. So it's worked in our favor all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in the last 3 years, I thought you guys were around like a little bit longer than that, 2014, 15 maybe, but it's looking, 2018 is when you guys started those?
Yeah.
I think that they really started, exploring the idea of selling stuff and getting all the requests in that in 17. It was right after the first team show. He came out and said, hey, we got to fix this problem. Then as soon as people knew we were fixing the problem, the requests started just comment. So it's, work in progress. Like anything, we keep working on new stuff, new ways to help solve different issues that arise and make things better, make it more, some shows allow the hydraulic cylinders, some don't, so they've been, I don't know, working on some other issues, other projects, other things coming, so it just gets better.
So what's the plan for the future? Well, you just told me about the Pacers and W bodies and all that, but what is your plan for the future? Do you plan to just take on anything you can, or is it kind of like a time thing?
Well, we're actually coming with like a universal kit. So I'm kind of doing some measuring on different racks, different vehicles, because I've had a lot of requests for Dakota pickup trucks. They run a rack. And I've just been doing a lot of measuring, and I want just a universal kit. So if somebody's got to make a bracket, that's fine, but I'll have everything there so they can literally make their own bracket and bolt it to it. The tie rods will just be some DOM tubing and some bungs on each end, just so they can cut and make their own. So anybody can put it on just about anything that's got a rack.
That's crazy. I did not know that you guys had this many options available. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm really glad we're having this conversation,
Yeah, I mean, our only advertising, we don't really advertise. Like I said, the intent was never really to sell it. So, it's on Facebook. We've got our stuff up there, and then, talking to people and, referrals and that. But
you guys have any, are you guys going to have an old iron kit, like for Cadillacs or Impalas or anything like that?
We're starting to make the plates for the gearboxes. I got some getting machined now because I've got a lot of requests for them. So just trying anything that's hydraulic we're going to try to deal with. Just been slow lately, but...
Well, COVID did not help anybody.
And material and prices, everything keeps going up on us. So it's like we're trying to keep it affordable for everybody, but hydraulic stuff's expensive in general.
It is. Are you guys going to do kind of like the pump mounted up by the steering column? And is that how your guys' is?
Yeah, you got the orbital valve up on there, but usually you run the pump off your engine.
Gotcha.
So, we got something else coming in the future I don't want to talk about yet until we get it out.
Okay.
It's going to make the steering a lot better, is what it's going to do. Yeah. So.
Secrets.
Yeah, always. So, well, you know how the Derby world gets.
I know exactly how the Derby world gets. I try not to.
Copies it and they go off and sell it. I mean, it is what it is. Look at full engine cradles.
Yep.
One person designed it, next person, everybody's got them.
Yep.
So.
And then you got a lot of people making them too.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I think it's great that, people are able to pick up the ideas and stuff. When you're working on stuff to make things, significantly better, you can't say too much too soon. So
yeah. We're doing all the hard work, I guess, what we're doing. So.
Right. I know what you're saying on so many levels, and doing the podcast, I try not to pry on personal information or anything like that. So I don't ask you anything about your setup or future. Well, I try not to do future plans, but I was just going to say, like, for the future of O3 Nations, you guys are expanding broadly is what the concept is.
yeah.
Yep. Yes, we are.
So that's really super awesome. That's really cool to hear. So I guess we can go back to your guys' history coming up through. So Kim ran, I guess you got to refresh my memory. It was in a wagon. It was your hometown. Was it Chelsea down there? Is that your guys' hometown show?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, yep, 2006, I had a wagon.
2006, I had a wagon.
Yep. That was actually fun. That was the most fun I've had in a car, my first car. Round back wagon, it feels like you got a cushion behind you, so you may as well hit someone hard.
What I was going to say when you said you thought you were going to die in it is I don't think many people have died in wagons.
No, but, first time you go out there, and, honestly, I went to college. I have a bachelor's degree, high school teacher, was in a sorority, and here I'm, like, out in a derby car. I mean, it's the total opposite of what anyone would expect. So I thought I was going to die.
You didn't feel like you belonged there?
Well, no. I mean, it was our hometown show, so, you know everybody. I grew up there, and my parents did, so it was more like that fear of totally just whiffing it in front of everyone.
So, Chris, how did she drive in her first derby? Big car derby.
It looked like she was a natural, I'm being honest.
For real,
She
her
gets in
first
it.
derby.
Yes. She got in it and did everything flawlessly.
Won my heat, hadn't even touched the front end of the car at all.
And then she wins the feature with the same car. So
Yeah.
that's why I said she is a natural at driving a derby car.
Well, hold on. You won your first big car derby?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won my first heat and my first in the feature.
How many compacts did you run before that? Was that just that one?
Just the one compact, and I decided that I didn't like it.
So this was your second derby.
This was to be honest, I don't count the first one because it was really embarrassing. So
No, but okay, so it was your second derby ever. Your first derby in the big cars, and you win the feature.
yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to get that. I just wanted to make that clear.
The more fun about it was 2006. So 2007 we came back, and I had a 76 Impala, I think.
Yep.
And Chris brought his wagon back from the previous year, and it ended up in the feature. We both won our heats, went to the feature, and it ended up coming down to him and I in the feature. We were 1 and 2.
So who won?
Chris did. That was driver experience. He pushed me into a mud puddle, and I couldn't get out.
All I could say is that's the best times. It's the only time I ever got to hit my wife.
Okay.
It was fun.
You guys have just that thing going, man. I mean, there's not many drivers that their wives are, into it as much as Kim is, let alone will drive and let alone will win like that,
Yep.
I guess we can all say Chris scored big.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Where did you guys meet? How did you guys meet?
So one of the local families around here had a private tractor show every year, and I grew up going. My dad was into antique tractors and restoring them, so I went to that. And in 2005,
Yeah, 2005.
their big party is always 4th of July weekend, their show, and Chris happened to be there, and we started talking, and we ended up getting married the following June. So we didn't even wait a year that we knew each other.
So what was Chris doing in the tractor show?
I built a little mini chopper that was set up like a farmall tractor. I was just cruising around the party with that, and I met her. So the problem is, I knew her whole entire family before I didn't even knew she was alive.
That's crazy. So like a lucky day for you then. Obviously. Lucky day for all of us. I don't know. Oh, you cut out there, Chris. Could you say that one more time? Hold on. Let's try Kim once. Kim, are you there? Oop. I got 3 bars here, so you guys are cut.
Let me move.
Oh, there we go.
See?
Yeah, there we go.
That's the beauty of living in the middle of nowhere. You have no cell service.
Right. Glad to hear you guys are back though, because I would hate to cut the podcast short. Chris, could you repeat what that was?
I said we got married 1 week less than a year. I've known her.
Gotcha. And what year was that?
2006.
2006. You guys been married 15 years. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
End of June here will be 15 years.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, Chris, when was your first derby, and what kind of car was it?
Oh, was it 98 was my first year. It was an 84 Olds 98.
Yep. And what was going through your mind pulling out on the track that night?
I was scared shitless because I had no idea what I was doing at that time. So.
Okay, so did you win the heat and win the feature?
Nope, I bombed that whole show.
What happened?
God, that's been a long time. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember. I really don't. Like I said, that was my first year, so I didn't know what I was doing.
Gotcha.
I never really got lucky driving and derbying until I met her. And we started, because I was running all metric cars at the time, and I don't know why, but then we started getting old irons, and we started doing better and better.
How many shows a year did you run back in the 90s, or did you guys both kind of pick up in the mid 2000s?
Well, you used to run USA.
Yes.
You and Ryan used to run together.
Yep.
And Corey.
Yep.
Who else did you run with? Hodges?
All of those guys. I
Yeah.
can't even name them all.
Yeah, back in the mid 2000s there.
Yes. Yep.
Gotcha.
My first championship was the first year they got rid of the old iron, and you had to run metric cars for championship. Something was that 2001 or 2002.
Gotcha. So back in that era with the, obviously no engine cradles and all that.
No, just pretty basic, simple deal.
Yeah.
And I'd ran half a dozen cars throughout the year because there was a lot of local shows at that time. Then as the years went on, USA became less and less in the derby world, and they got more into the bump and run shows.
Yep. Yeah, that kind of went on as it went because Sonny was, he was kind of out of the 60s there a little bit and didn't really know, what the newer guys were doing, and that kind of happens, I guess, when you promote derbies for 50 years,
Right.
So USA, got a lot better. In my opinion, when Jack bought him out, which that's okay. I mean, Sonny was a great promoter in his day, but that's good. It's a lot better now, though. The Michigan scene is a lot better due to Jack and Todd, and everybody is kind of in their zone now and knowing, what I guess, which direction they want to go.
Right. Well, and staying up to date on what's happening, nationwide and at the big shows, and what drivers are actually building for. It makes a difference. The old promoters, Rotroff and Sonny and all them. I mean, they had one set of rules, and that was just it.
Yeah, and they'd come out with, okay, so, this car isn't allowed this, and this car isn't allowed that. And then you'd get there and they'd have it done anyways, and because they need cars, so people would get upset because it says you can't do it. So I built the car not doing it, and you're letting these guys in anyway. Well, and that kind of, I guess that drove the scene down a little bit. You can't do that,
Yeah, well, and Sonny and Rosie were always there. I mean, they were, the staple when I started. Going to the USA shows with Chris. I never ran a USA until 2016?
Was it 16?
I think it was 2016 was the first time I ran a USA show. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a good time. So I was talking to Steve yesterday, and he says he listens to the podcast pretty often, and I'm going to give him a shout out. I know you guys helped him out for a while.
Oh yeah,
Steve Bauer.
for a while, and with the kids and stuff, time just got really tight, and it's real hard to build so many cars in
Right.
the house. So
He's a really good driver. He really is. He took second championship 2019. Every time I watch him run, he's always right down there at the end. It doesn't matter what his car looks like. He always seems to get there,
Yeah, well, a lot of it too. You gotta learn from people when you're building and starting out. I mean, the craziest thing with him, I actually had him as a student when he was in high school. So he in the next summer he graduated and is hey, you think you could help teach me how to do this? And Chris is going, of course I can, because that's what you do. You help everybody out, and he just kind of stuck around.
Yeah, that's like the Fast and the Furious. He just kind of showed up one day and just never left.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I mean, he's a real good driver. I always tease him because I beat him in Chelsea one year. He stalled out and kept trying to fire his car, and he had it in gear.
Oh, yep. There you go. That's tough.
You know,
Yep.
and he is a good driver. I get it, but I got to give him shit all the time for it because why not?
Kim, you can do that. I mean, it's not really teasing. It's more of a bragging rights thing, and you've got more bragging rights than most male drivers do. So hey, whatever. So Kim, have you ever ran a powder puff?
No, I have. Yes, I have. The one year I went out to Mayhem, they had a powder puff. There was Nightline came out and did the broadcast. It was like the $30,000 to win one, and Tori had a powder puff heat. And actually, I threw a fit because I didn't want to be in with girls. I wanted to be in with the boys. I hate running powder puffs. They're just, I don't know. Women are so unpredictable.
Yeah. I'm not going to elaborate. I mean, okay, that's.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. I get it. I mean, Tori was trying to help them out, and, Nightline has their show. They want a good show. They want to explain something that, most people in the U.S. have never seen a big derby like that, let alone women who do a big derby like that. So, they called, they asked Vic if we wanted to kind of be highlighted, and, it was, at first, Chris was like, absolutely not, and then, more and more, just why not, go do it. So they actually sent the camera crew out and filmed some stuff here at the house, filmed us, doing some builds, and I was coaching Little League at the time, so, I go build and go change my jeans and go to Little League and coach and come back and change my jeans and go out to the barn again, and, it's fun. It was really cool to highlight that on a national level and be able to hopefully increase, acknowledgement of the sport.
Yeah, increased participation. That's what the promoters try to do, and we're in kind of a weird spot right now where we're in like a transition to where this didn't work, so we're doing this and it's working, so we're getting there. Especially up here.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better. I think that national recognition of things is getting better. The point series that Mark Elliott's doing is awesome. It's just another recognition piece, and it's really cool. We're going to be down at Kings of Old School.
Kings of Ohio.
Oh, King of Ohio. I apologize. Down July 4th weekend, and he's doing something real cool too, where he asked different vendors if you wanted 15 minutes, and he's going to kind of do like seminar type promotion kind of thing. So you can talk for 15-20 minutes about your products and what they're used for, let people ask questions, and anybody can just go and listen, and that's kind of a cool concept too.
Yeah, the Smith Metalworks Derby Expo had something like that where I believe Jeffy and Jason Koch, Toast did a presentation. They had a feature film preview. You could go in, they had it set up like a theater and watch stuff like that. That was really awesome. So they must be.
Yeah, it's really cool that stuff's starting to really take off. On so many levels.
Right. So is the Old Three Nation crew going to be there?
Yeah, we'll be there. I don't know quite yet if Corey's going to make it, but I know Chris and I will be there for sure.
So do you guys vend at shows, or do you guys just do internet sales?
Yeah, we do internet sales and we'll deliver to shows, but we don't vend. We like watching the shows too much.
Well, what I'll do when I vend for that business I mentioned once during the podcast is I'll go out to my truck in the mornings and then usually take care of business. Then I'll go watch the show at night.
Yeah. Well, for us too, Derby's a family thing.
Right.
So
right.
We usually end up having, all 3 kids and the dog. And so, it just makes it difficult. We like doing this stuff. We like, talking to customers and hanging out and doing that piece of it and not having to worry about, making sure orders are good or that we have enough or, that whole business thing. It's still family time and it's still Derby family,
Yeah, it can be hard to keep them separate for sure. I mean, what I'll do is I'll have somebody text me, hey, do you have anything? and I'll tell them, listen, we'll go out there after the heat or after the last feature tonight or something like that. I'm watching the show right now. I'm with my family. I'm with my crew, and then when we go back to the truck later on tonight, we'll square up.
Yeah, well, it's worked pretty well for us as far as doing, the pre-order stuff and then just doing delivery. We've done that quite a bit, and we've shipped quite a bit. So it's really whatever people want to do.
Right. So Chris, also, I forgot about this because you guys do so much in the derby world, but I forgot that Chris inspects at Metal Mayhem and Spring X, I believe.
Yeah, I did that for a couple years with Jay.
Took a break this year, though.
I took a break this year because I wanted to do more stuff with the family. It's the same thing. We want to go to the derbies and enjoy the derby.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Yeah.
2 years I worked for Jack to be as an inspector, and then this year I kind of break. So family was a little more important this year.
Yeah, well, our oldest is going to be running the youth class at Mayhem, so that's kind of a highlight. She's excited, and we need Dad. So
Yeah.
So Chris, would you rather inspect or drive in a derby?
I would rather build a car.
Gotcha. So what do you think about being an inspector? What do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Is it stressful or not really? I mean, I've never been an inspector, so.
I mean, I like doing it because I like to see what everybody else is doing
Of course.
and get more knowledge out of it that way. See what creativity people come up with. Is that going to work? Is that not going to work? But I'm not really into inspecting anymore. That's something I really don't want to do anymore. Like I said, I'd rather go to the show and enjoy myself now.
Gotcha.
Because I did that for a couple years, and then Kim worked for Derby Tees
Yep.
for quite a few years. And every time we go to the Derby, we never watch the Derby. I'm either doing something with the kids or I'm helping out with that. Then I started working for Jack.
And I had the kids.
Then
yeah.
she had the kids. So it was kind of unfair for both of us because we wanted to go to the Derby.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I'm going to bow out of it and start enjoying the derbies again. Go in there and enjoy watching and hanging out with friends.
Gotcha. And Kim was one of the producers at the Derby Tees .tv crew.
Yeah, yep. I can't even talk. Derby T. Mark and I talked quite a while ago, and he brought me on board and started, working on stuff. And then, that got to a point too where, I loved it. I mean, who gets to get paid to do a job you love like
Right.
that? I mean, it's awesome. But again, family got important. And we had to just revisit that. And so I stepped away from that, and got back into driving, which is cool.
Man, you guys are literally all over.
Yeah,
I
know.
mean, Kim was one of the producers at Derby Tees. Chris has 03 Nation. I mean, you guys are running cars, building cars, inspecting at shows. It's pretty hard to miss you guys anywhere,
We try to make as many shows as we can. Sometimes it just doesn't work in our schedule.
Gotcha.
So,
Right? Yeah. Well, it's a family thing, and you can only fit so much of this stuff in.
Yep. Now, with the kids, Henry's 4, and he's got his little Power Wheel derby car, and that's his. He has to run too. So
Right.
it's just adding one more piece to the puzzle.
Right. So, do you guys plan to run again this summer at all, or? I know. You guys are gonna run youth class at Mayhem, but do you guys plan to run?
Not sure. As of right now, I am scheduled to run Mayhem. We got some other stuff in the works though, and it's kind of going to depend on that, whether or not we actually make it to Mayhem, or if other things end up panning out for us.
And Kim said that. What about Chris? Chris is like, nope, she's driving.
no, same thing.
Okay.
We got some other things coming about, so it's, I'd rather watch my daughter run, and I'm going to help her build her first car, because she gets to run in the youth class at Mayhem. So, like I said, I might just do that, and then we go there and enjoy the show.
Gotcha.
But it's all up to Kim. If she really wants to run, we'll let her run. If not, we'll cancel out and back out of that, and let somebody else take her spot for Mayhem.
Right.
But I got her car here. I got everything here to put it together, so I'm going to leave that up to her to decide if she wants to run or not.
I'll tell you what, man. I loved watching her drive last night. I really hope I could watch Kim drive like 100 more cars.
Yeah, last night was fun. I was, struggling a little bit with some of the mechanics of stuff, but a lot of that comes with just not having the upper body strength that men do. I mean, kind of scrawny, so yeah, it was fun.
My belt came off real early. I had no power steering and no water pump for probably, I think, like 5 minutes in it came off. So I was horsing my car around too with no power steering the whole night. It was a good time.
Right? I've done that before too with an old iron. That's a blast.
The track actually was okay for it because I've lost power steering before, and if you're on like a sandy track and the tires stick, you can't turn the car at all. But last night it was just like a perfect slippery clay that the tires would actually turn for me. And it didn't wind up affecting that much, but it was still, obviously a lot harder to do. But I would have much rather had it, and I'm pretty sore today from it.
Yeah, I found some muscles I wasn't sure that existed. So
You don't find them when you're using them. You find them the next day when they're sore.
No, you don't. You find them 2 days later.
Right.
I got a pretty nice bruise on my elbow too, because the fuel tank cap happened to be in the wrong spot.
Ow.
Oh, it's a good one. Vic Whaley, actually, he says, you're supposed to wear elbow pads. And I went, well, it's that wisdom, you live, you learn.
You live, you learn. Get bruised up from the gas cap and still out drive. Everybody there.
Yeah, why not?
There you go. All right, guys. I think it's time to move on to the Big Ten. Are you guys sports fans?
I am.
No,
Okay. So, are you guys familiar with the podcast?
Oh, yeah, we've listened to some of it, not
Okay.
as much as we probably could.
Have you guys made it to the Big Ten part yet on any of them?
I have not, no.
Really? Okay. So the Big Ten is the conference that Michigan State play in because the Michigan Derby podcast. I always wrap the podcast up with this part. So the Big Ten is the conference Michigan State play in, but there's really 14 teams. So what I did was I come up with 14 questions to just kind of ask and wrap it up this way and let everybody get to know you maybe a little bit better. So,
Okay.
okay. they're not that bad, I promise.
Okay.
What is your guys' favorite place to visit in Michigan?
I think I like Rifle River area, Rose City.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys go up there pretty often?
Yeah, we try to go out camping for a long weekend with the kids. It's just nice. It's close to Tawas. It's, outside, get the kids out canoeing, doing that stuff. So.
Did you guys come home last night after the show, or did you guys stay up north?
No, we stayed up there. My brother lives up in the Mesick area, so we spent the whole weekend up there hanging out with them.
I know you mentioned that, but I wasn't sure if you guys wound up doing that or not. So that how far of a drive is Cadillac for you guys?
But Cadillac's 3.5 hours for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I got home last night. It was an hour 15. Plus I live another half hour from the shop that we were building the cars at, so it was about 2 hours for me. And you guys are a good, I want to say hour and a half, maybe 2 hours south of me yet. So I knew you guys had a long ways to go.
Yeah, I think we crawled into bed about 3:30 last night. Got up at 9:15. Decided coffee was more important, and then ended up leaving for home at 12:30, 1 o'clock.
You guys climbed into bed up there at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Yeah, I got home down here at about 3:30. So you guys didn't go? You guys didn't head straight there?
Yeah, we did. But we hung out with my brother and my sister-in-law, so just talking and bullshitting. And,
Gotcha.
Enjoying the evening.
Yeah, we hung out for a while too. I thought the sun was going to be up before I got home, but that's Derbian, man. You're amped up. You're ready to go run 5 more heats.
That 3:30 in the morning was a lot more enjoyable than the year at Mayhem that it rained.
Yeah.
That was not an enjoyable 3:30 in the morning.
There's still up at 3:30 in the morning, and there's still going strong at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was rough.
Okay. Well, I'm going to enjoy this question a lot. So I'm going to ask both of you guys this. So, Mad Dog or Winner? And I want to ask you guys both this question.
Mad Dog.
Okay.
I'll take the win.
Okay.
I have never done this sport to win. I've always done it for the fun. Always.
Well-
I could care less to win or lose.
But it's fun to win.
Yeah, but it doesn't bother me.
So I can back Chris on that. My number one rule, personally, is the sport has to be fun, or else it turns into a job. And when it turns into a job, it's time to hang it up.
But if you don't, I'm not going to be
I think you cut out a little bit there.
It's fun, and then if you win, it's a bonus. So it's, I don't know. I like to win. I'm competitive. That's kind of my nature. So I don't know. I like to maybe walk the line on the Mad Dog versus winning.
Okay. That's interesting. I've only seen you drive a couple times, so you're you're an amazing driver. So I wasn't sure if some nights you want to go out there and light it up, or if you're there to win.
I think you've been there for more to the win.
I think I've been there probably more for the win, but I also, my biggest thing is I hate it. I absolutely hate it when I drive like a girl.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Well, you laugh at that, but really, I mean, if you're out there competing with the guys, you should compete with the guys. I mean, don't treat me any different because I'm a girl, I mean, that's how I've always been with it.
Yeah, I don't have a comment on that. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you wheeled the car last night just as good as anybody. Being a girl makes no difference in that regard, It's just funny to poke fun at Chris about letting his wife drive, but seriously, I mean, I would put you in my car if I couldn't run it, and you know.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, because it's not poor judgment on Chris's part, is what I'm saying. I mean, seriously, you're up there with driving talent,
Well, thank you. Yeah, I used to give him crap about that, about wanting me to drive, and I said, I don't understand that at all. I just don't get it. And I don't know, riding passenger last night I think was a happy medium for both of us.
Very happy.
Well, it's like your wife making more money than you, but if your wife is Jennifer Lopez, then it's like, okay, if you go out there and drive like Kim did, then okay, Oh man, you guys are a lot of fun. I love it. Okay, all right. Question number 3: Metallica or Garth Brooks?
Garth Brooks.
Metallica.
Wow. Okay. Is that all the time, or just building the cars, or just?
I'm gonna be honest. My radio's never on in the shop when I'm building.
Never.
I like my peace and quiet.
Huh.
And then I'm over here, I'm, Disturbed and Five Finger Death Punch.
There you go. Rocking out. I like that. Turn it up and get down. That's cool. Okay. All right. So I'm literally gonna ask 03 Nation, new iron or old iron? Because I have to.
New old iron.
I've always been an old iron guy all my life. That's all I've always ever bought, especially Chevy Impalas or the roundback wagons. But I'm liking the 03s a lot more now. A lot harder cars.
I'm kind of thinking that. It's just part of the questions I have to ask. What about Kim?
So old iron has my heart, but my wallet has the 03s. So
That's good.
That's a very good way of explaining that.
I mean, I can't just go drop $3,000 on an old iron anymore.
Our cars last night actually came from Michigan, and they were bought off everyday people. They weren't bought off derby people. And Shane actually made money on his car.
Oh, geez. You don't hear that anymore.
Hey, the one thing about Cadillacs is a lot of people like to restore them. So Shane actually sold his interior out of his car for like $650.
Nice.
And then he got, stuff for like tail lights and I want to say like the carpet mat and all that stuff. He got money for, and actually, yeah, and the motor and tranny. Guys run big block Cadillac engines and like mud trucks and speedboats. So every Cadillac motor and tranny we pull, we can usually get $300-400 for.
So you can pretty much pay for your car.
If you buy it right, and if somebody,
Right.
If there's a demand for the certain parts. Now I paid more for my car than Shane did, and we weren't really able to sell the parts off it. So it's kind of a gamble, but it can happen,
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Question number 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, question number 5. So, okay. This will be a good question for you guys. Heavy build or bone stock? I know Chris likes to build, but what do you think?
Oh, bone stock is easy. I love them. A lot of our local show is pretty much bone stock. So that's where we started out at. Simple and easy, and go have some fun. See how the car can bend.
Yeah. I've thought this. You spend so much time figuring out how to make a car hard. And then you go watch a bone stock show and you watch people out there having fun. They don't care. They don't have anything into the car. They're just out there standing the nose up. And there's actually not many other things more fun in the derby world than going out there and just nosing a car and not caring about it.
Oh yeah,
that is so true.
That is true.
I'm almost ready to put a second setup together so I can go run bone stock shows because the builds anymore are pretty intensive. They're not over the top, but they're to where it's like I'm just ready to run the car and I'm ready to be done with it. Whereas you could just throw a car together in a week or two and go out there and have fun and you don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So there's definitely both sides of the spectrum there. And honestly, at this day and age, they're alive and well. 10 years ago, everybody was like full-blown pro mod and there was no bone stock class. There was no motor swap. There was no limited weld. It was all together and it was, not as fair to some people.
Well, I think we were talking earlier about the sport, changing and evolving, and that the differentiation between builds has helped significantly with that. Whatever you want to do, whatever level you're at, there's a class for it somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it needs to be because it'll increase participation like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Every driver's different, so this list may not cover everything the first time, but I got the question favorite kind of car, even though we've kind of covered that. You guys are into the 03s, obviously pretty heavy. So I'm just gonna go on to I don't know what Kim gave me a couple years at the Wicked Team Show, but it was really good, and I know you guys really like to partake. So beer or whiskey?
Captain and Coke.
Captain. Okay, but Kim gave me some red stuff that was really good, and I was about to forget who I was.
So I kind of a little homemaker over here, and I've got a raspberry patch. So I make raspberry jam every year, twice a year, because Chris, that's his favorite thing in the whole world. So when it gets to the end of the raspberry season, I got all these left over, but it's not enough to make jam. So I sort of make my raspberry cordial, and it's not really, I don't know. It's really good, and you only need a little bit. So that's what you had.
It's really good, and you only need a little bit. That is the perfect way of marketing that, Kim. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But for every day, I am definitely a beer drinker. Got out of that car last night. It was hot, and all I wanted was cold beer.
I backed the car in the corner. I got out. I went to my camper and got a water, literally. And then I walked back up to my dad on the other side of the track, and I was like, all right, who's left? And I want to say, I think Shane broke off right after that, and then it was you three, and that was her,
Yeah.
But, yeah, a beer after that was definitely needed. Okay, so what is your guys' car numbers and why?
Oh, I'm 3277, and a friend of one of my good buddies, his dad's number he did snowmobile racing, motorcycles, all that, and he was number 77. Well, he passed away, got in a bad accident, so I just stuck with the 77 part. And the 32 was on my race quad. It was just on my four-wheeler that I had, so I just picked that number, so I just put the two together.
Gotcha.
So, nothing special about it. I mean, the one part is, but...
Well, yeah, you don't see a lot of four-digit Derby numbers, and you guys are both four-digit.
Yep.
Yeah, so mine was 4077 because I needed a Derby number, but I couldn't actually come up with a good one. So I wanted to do 77 because Chris had it, and that was a kind of a nod to him for teaching me what he knows and everything. But me and my grandpa growing up always watched MASH. And he was in a MASH unit over in Korea. And so when I started thinking about numbers, I'm like, 4077 MASH. And my first car, actually, that's how it was painted up, was the Army tank green and the MASH with the little red asterisk in between. And, yeah, it was great.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What's the next one? Oh, okay. So we talked about this a little bit. You're at a big show, you're out of town, maybe you're up in Cadillac, Michigan. Are you guys getting a hotel or camping at a Derby?
Most of the time we camp. Every now and then we motel it. So, but we're more of in the camping way.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I would agree. We camp.
You can get that raspberry cordial out and not worry about it.
Yes. No driving.
Right. Okay. Big show or county fair?
Both. It's a Derby.
Yeah, I think it's different levels of everything. I mean, I mentioned earlier the USA show. The first one I ran was USA, and it was Jackson County Fair, and that was pretty intense. And I won that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
The first one, yeah, I think I beat Corey, won that one, and then you turn around and go to Mayhem, and it's just as intense, but in a totally different way. So both, I would go with both.
Kim, how many wins do you have?
We were just trying to figure it out. I don't actually know.
More. Okay, you have more wins than you can count, or more wins than you remember, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it over 5 or over 10?
You're kind of close to 10 at least.
I'm probably around 10 or more ish.
Most of those are at the local show or local fair, so
Yeah.
they don't care for much at the local fair anymore because we're always taking their money from the fair.
Yeah, they don't like us.
Okay. I'm wrapping my head around that. So, all right. This is a goofy question, but I like to ask it because it's fun. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yes.
No.
Wow. I'm about to cause a divorce.
Fruit is not supposed to be on pizza.
Oh, it's over. That's it? No fight?
No, we don't fight. So with the 3 kids, it works out because I like pineapple, and actually my son loves ham and pineapple pizza. So he and I get a pizza, and Chris deals with the other 2.
There you go. Or you get 2 larges. You get one with pineapple and one without.
Yes, exactly.
There you go. You guys are great. Okay. Do you guys play euchre? That's a Michigan question.
No, I do not.
Yes, I do. I learned it about age 6.
So opposites attract? Is that what I'm seeing here?
Probably.
Yes.
Okay. And all right. So this is usually I don't ask married couples this question, but it's on here. Obviously, most of my podcasts are with men, but it's blonde, brunette, or redhead. And I think Kim will probably smack Chris if he says redhead.
Blonde, brunette, or redhead?
Yeah.
She's been all of it. So there's a difference. I mean, one year she had a bleach blonde, then she's a brunette, and I've seen a redhead. I mean, hey, it works for me.
Yeah.
There you go. What do you say, Kim?
In all fairness, I'm not a fan of the red, so.
Kim, what do you like? Obviously. What is Chris?
It's been 16 years, so.
Jeez. Oh man.
You'd probably smack me if I said gray.
Oh wow. Wow.
It's all wisdom.
Yeah.
There was a lot of wisdom in that car last night, I'll tell you that. That's no joke. That's no joke, man. Okay. All right. So, last question. What is your proudest win or your favorite car or your best memory, I guess, since you guys been derbying, like with derbies?
Boy. I don't know. Jeez.
Best era, I mean, or even your favorite show to go to, or what's the best time you guys have derbying? Time in the shop, I mean, going with the family. What's your favorite part about derbying?
All of it, really. It's every bit of it's just a family event. Don't matter if she's out in the barn working, or we're going to the derby, or hanging out with her in the car.
Yeah.
To me, derby is a big family event.
I think that started real early with us. I mean, look at the local show the second year that we were running, both running, and it came down to the two of us. I mean, that was like newspaper worthy in our little town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but it it is. It's the family. It's, we have our family, and then our family is big, part of a bigger family. And you go out to these shows and you see friends from all over, and they know our kids, and you can actually threaten your kids and say, look, you can't actually get away with anything because everybody knows you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It is. It's a whole style, and people don't get it, but it's what we do. It's us. It's and everybody that's in it gets it.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, the magic last night is something that I haven't felt in a little bit, because we've had really hard luck on our cars. You guys did, and you have a night like that where the car shows up. You never know if it's gonna or not. I went out to my car this afternoon here, and my front passenger wheel is leaning a little bit, and I took it with my hands, and I can shake my wheel. I can shake my front wheel on the car, on the trailer right now. So that wheel was about ready to fall off when I broke off last night.
Not mine.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no.
It was right there. It's just things like that go right, and then there's things that go wrong that can just, and those nights where everything actually goes right. And to me, everything went right last night because I got to run the car.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I was real happy with third. Honestly, with the quality builds and the caliber drivers that showed up, and the way the show was run, and both Sorensen's, the way everything was done, it felt like a national show.
It did.
It had that vibe to it. The drivers all got out, shook hands, and it felt like a very big national event. To be part of that is cool, and to take third. I mean, yeah, I would have loved to win, but at the same time, I'll take it. That's awesome.
It is. It was awesome watching you drive. Chris is beside himself, happy about being passenger. And it's got to be that way. Because that's why we do it. Is for the fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris Potocki, Kim Potocki, you guys have been all over the Derby world. You guys are from Michigan up here, Michigan Derby podcast. You guys are the Michigan Derby family.
Thank you.
Let's just put it that way. Husband and wife drives. Husband prefers the wife to drive the car. That's a first, but again, when your wife can drive like that, there is no blame there at all.
She's good though. I'll give her that.
Yeah, when your wife has upwards of 10 wins in the Derby world, that's okay, Well, yeah, I guess we're gonna sign off. Good luck this summer. Good luck with your next O3 Nation endeavor, and we'll see you guys at the King of Ohio because I'll be there as well.
Okay.
All right,
We'll see you there.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see you guys.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye.